Up next, we have a presentation on business transformation with SAP Signavio by Bhargav Vasudevarao, Senior Solution Advisor, SAP. The session will cover on how SAP Signavio can drive process improvement. Please welcome Bhargav Vasudevarao.
Thank you. Yeah, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Bhargav. I am part of the SAP Business Transformation Management portfolio. So traditionally, SAP has been selling products to you, technology products, which give you some functionalities which you adopt. There are always challenges that you face in how well you are able to adopt these technology products from SAP. So that is the whole purpose of this Business Transformation Management portfolio from SAP, to help you understand how well your processes are running in your IT systems, and also help you adopt these technologies in the right way going forward. So typically, why do companies transform? The main reasons are, one of the main reasons is the internal driven, right? Because once you try to scale up, the traditional legacy processes that your organization is running, they reach a ceiling, and beyond that, the growth kind of stagnates. So that is one of the key reasons why you look at business transformation as a priority. The second priority is market driven. For example, COVID hit a few years back, the geopolitical tensions that are happening recently, and all those market driven reasons for business transformation. And the third reason is technology driven. Of course, now the latest thing is generative AI, and how generative AI as a technology is driving business transformation in your organizations. And what Gartner said and predicts for 2025 is almost $5.26 trillion of spend on digital transformation in 2025. However, companies still face a challenge. They face challenges when they get into business transformation. For example, most of the projects that are undertaken are not completed on time. 58% of the projects exceed the budget. 42% invest in the wrong technology. So of course, every organization does the due diligence initially to find out the right technology for their requirements. But once you implement it, then you start realizing that that is probably not fit for your purpose in your organization. 41% lack agility. Now again, coming to AI, 59% of organizations who were surveyed by this Oxford Economics survey believe that AI will impact transformation, but only 35% of those organizations have an AI policy that is set up to manage your AI related business transformation. And the other key challenge which we have noticed is that organizations think of business transformation as a project. They think that, business transformation is a one-time activity to take you from point A to point B. But that is not the end. From point B, again, you go into a status quo, and you will again go into next 5 years, you will go in that status quo using your technology for inefficient way, suboptimal way, and then you will go into another transformation 5 years later, right? So business transformation is should not be considered a project, but it should be considered as a capability within your organization, which you use on a consistent basis to ensure that it is a continuous activity. It is a transformation on a continuous basis, and you need a roadmap to manage your transformation. You start with multiple initiatives to take you from A to B, B to C, C to D, but all these need to be planned with all those drivers considered. Again, going back to the first slide, your internal drivers, market drivers, and technology drivers, and plan your initiatives in the right way, and build that capability internally within your organization to ensure that your business transformation is successful. SAP's vision, as in the first slide I spoke about, has been talking about technology products, functionalities which have been coming up. But the focus in the last 3 years is to help you in this transformation, help you adopt those technologies in the right way. Whether you talk about processes, where you need to discover what your processes are in your organization, analyze how those processes are getting executed in your organization, design your to-be processes, and based on that to-be process design, then you build your to-be application design, implement these applications, and finally operate them on a continuous basis. So as I was saying, this has to be a continuous loop from process discovery, analysis, design, implementation, and operation, and this has to be a continuous cycle. And to help you in this, SAP in this new portfolio, we have these 3 new capabilities. Signavio is a new business process transformation capability to help you discover, analyze, and design your business processes and help you get faster time to insight, to understand how your processes are getting executed today and how you can improve your processes going forward. LeanIX on the right side is from an application architecture perspective. Understand your current application landscape. What are the overlaps in terms of multiple applications performing the same purpose in your organization? Harmonize your applications, rationalize your application portfolio, and take it forward in terms of faster time to adapting to new requirements. And WalkMe as the newest capability to help you in digital adoption, which is talking about how your users can adopt these technologies in a much, much better way, in the right way, right? So that is what these 3 capabilities come together in the business transformation management portfolio of SAP. Now, every organization is in different stages of transformation, right? For example, if we take SAP's S/4HANA transformation, for example, you may be in the stage where you are preparing for your S/4HANA transformation. You may be going through the S/4HANA transformation in terms of designing your target state, and then you will be actually implementing it. And finally, after the implementation, you will be going through a continuous improvement cycle. So depending on wherever you are in terms of business strategy in your organization, for example, the first stage is to understand where are we at the moment and how are we doing today. So each of these capabilities, Signavio, LeanIX, and WalkMe, help you understand where you are today and what are the problems that you are facing today. So Signavio from a process analysis and mining, where you can look at your system-driven data and analyze how your processes are getting executed. For example, if we talk about the PR to PO to GR, IR, and payment process, how are each of these steps being performed in your organization across different entities within your organization? Compare them between different plants in your organization. How are these processes getting executed? The second stage is once you have understood your ASIS process, understood the problems and the challenges, then we go into the design of your to-be process, of your to-be architecture. So Signavio helps you there again. Once you have understood the ASIS, you get into designing your to-be process in a very, very collaborative manner, ensuring that you get feedback from your organization in your entirety. Now, traditionally, this process design used to be done by management consultants or BPR, business process reengineering consultants in the past, and these were all traditionally interview users, talk to them, find out what are the problems that they are facing and how should you do it in the future. But with Signavio, we are able to look at it from a data-driven perspective, bring that unbiased fact from your data, understand from the transactions how are your processes getting executed, and build your to-be design based on data and not through gut feel, right? And once you have understood and built your to-be process design, we get into the implementation where we want to roll out these processes. See, the key thing here is change management, because you do not want to force your users to adopt the new processes, new technologies without their acceptance, without their understanding of what these technology capabilities are going to do in future. So Signavio, LeanIX, and WalkMe are going to help you there in terms of building up a rollout factory, building out a rollout plan over the different entities. So you start with a particular entity or a plant, then once that organization accepts it, then you go into the next and so on, right? So you build a phased roadmap for the rollout, and you can use Signavio, LeanIX, and WalkMe for achieving that. And once you go live and roll out to all your plants and entities, then you need to understand, again, it's a full loop again, do a continuous improvement cycle. Now, the key point here is, we spoke about that Gartner fact which said that so many projects fail and they fail because they have not realized the value that they have promised in the beginning. So with Signavio, you are able to come back and show the business that with SAP S/4HANA, for example, this is the business value that you are actually realizing. Because again, we are using data and seeing how the process has transformed from the starting point to the target state. And again, you will be able to see, are there variations which are happening in different parts of your organization? Are there some entities which are performing better than the other? Do an internal benchmarking, and you can choose and then roll out those changes to the rest of the organization. Roll out those best practices to the rest of the organization. So just to go into some more detail for Signavio. Signavio has basically two major capabilities. One is what is called as process insights, which is a plug and play capability. You connect it to an SAP system and you will be within 24 hours you will be able to get analytics. You will be able to get analytics in terms of more than 110 processes. How are these processes getting executed? What are the different stages, cycle time, lead time, bottlenecks, blockers, and so on. And once you understand that, you go to the next capability, which is called process mining. So process mining is an SAP agnostic capability. So Signavio is able to bring both the SAP side of things with process insights, and for non-SAP applications also we have this capability called process intelligence, which you can connect to non-SAP applications as well. For example, Salesforce, Coupa, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, ServiceNow, and so on and so forth. So all these are also integrated with Signavio to help you understand how the processes are getting executed end to end, and that is the key thing here, right? Any organization doesn't work only on SAP or only on some other specific technology. The end-to-end process stretches across multiple applications, and with Signavio you are able to get that end-to-end picture of how your processes are getting executed. Just to take a couple of examples here, what process insights or process analytics looks like. This is an example of the sales order item creation to the AR clearing, the accounts receivable clearing. What we are able to see is how this process progresses from the time the sales order item is created to the accounts receivable item getting cleared at the end of the day. And what are the different blockers that are there as part of that? What are the cycle time which is taken between different stages, from sales order creation to delivery items created, so on and so forth. What are the lead times? And again, you have the ability to go deeper into analyzing which plant, which entity has a better lead time, which has a worse lead time, and focus on improving that, right? Once you understand this at a high level with Signavio Process Insights, you will be able to go into a more detailed analysis of your as-is processes. This particular example we are able to look at and compare side by side two different plants in the same organization. How are the processes getting executed? What are the blockers? What are the challenges between these two entities within your organization? And look at understanding what is the best practice that one particular entity is taking and try to replicate it in your other organization. And finally, you are also able to reverse engineer your processes from your as-is analysis. See, this is a big pain point which we see in a lot of organizations. The ability, see, always there is a manual activity of creating your process models in Signavio or any tool. Typically organizations use Visio or Microsoft Word or PowerPoint for creating your process documents, your SOPs, and so on. But those become static documents. They are not live, they are not real time. So with Signavio, as you execute and understand your current process, you are also able to reverse engineer and create this business process models in Signavio, which becomes a live document. What do I mean by a live document? You are able to compare here what is your to be design and how is the actual execution. And in this example, we can see that there is quite a bit of deviation in how your organization is running today compared to the process that you designed as part of your initial activities. Of course, to help you, we have accelerators. Specifically for the chemical industry, SAP has created what is called as the standard content for business processes across the experience which our consultants have got for almost 50 years, in the last 50 years, and built it into a best practice content library, which is readily available for you to adopt as part of your projects if you are in the chemical industry. Of course, for other industries as well, content is being continuously created. and you can contribute as well to those best practice content. Of course, AI is a key point, a key part of all topics today. So Signavio, LeanIX and WalkMe as well are investing heavily in how you can further simplify your process optimization activities, use Joule capability to talk to Signavio and ask questions from, using the data and using the process analytics, you will be able to get real-time response from the data from the process analytics. So we spoke about Signavio. Just to summarize, SAP LeanIX. SAP LeanIX is an enterprise architecture platform which helps you understand your application portfolio today, look at what are the optimizations that you can do, what are the harmonization opportunities that you have in your application portfolio, in your IT portfolio, help you understand what are the risks and compliance requirements in terms of your IT applications. Are they getting obsolete? Are there replacements in the market which are available? Again, this is a completely SAP agnostic tool, and with SAP acquisition, this has become more SAP data is coming into it, but it is an SAP agnostic tool. Whatever IT applications that you have, you will be able to discover it and map it into your enterprise architecture portfolio, use it to harmonize and rationalize your applications. WalkMe is the third capability, which is actually a digital adoption platform, which sits on top of your application. Again, whether it is SAP or non-SAP, it sits on top of your UI, and it is a real-time giving you feedback, giving the user feedback on whether they are doing it the right way. If they are deviating from the standard process, the recommended process, WalkMe will proactively give you a recommendation that are you looking to do certain things, and for example, are you creating a service PO, then you need to use this particular capability in S/4HANA. Are you using services, then you have to talk, you can probably use field glass for service procurement and so on and so forth. So WalkMe is going to sit on top of the UI layer and give you recommendations. We have a couple of examples. BHP is a big customer of ours who is using Signavio to understand their processes and look at optimizing and bringing it all together in a global shared services framework to ensure that they have visibility of their processes and ensure that they have the right way forward in terms of transparency and agility. This is a large Japanese chemical company, again, which has multiple entities. They used to run their independent organizations in a holding structure framework, and recently they moved from a holding structure to a unified organization with multiple company codes, with multiple plants. So what again they use Signavio here to understand their process landscape across the different entities, and they use Signavio to harmonize their processes across the organization and bring it into, of course there are variants which are possible, but bring it into a more manageable set of variants with Signavio. This is again a mining company in Australia which uses both Signavio and LeanIX to manage their process landscape as well as their application landscape. And finally, this is another large American chemical company which uses Signavio to manage their procure to pay process, optimize their procure to pay process, and they were able to identify a lot of compliance issues within how they are using SAP, and they were able to find out the root cause of that and look at resolving that. In summary, Signavio, LeanIX and WalkMe are leaders in their own space. With SAP's acquisition of these and more investment in this, we are able to now scale up much faster and ensure that all our customers are able to get the benefit of process improvement, application landscape optimization, as well as digital adoption. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them outside due to time constraint. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhargav. The role of SAP Signavio in facilitating business transformation and process optimization is very compelling.